The Stars and Stripes show is brought to you by the U.S. Embassy.
It's Gabs FM, power to engage your world. Welcome back to the Stars and Stripes radio show. And this is your window into like a vibrant partnership between the United States of America and Botswana. Hashtag American Botswana. That's the hashtag we use. We talk about different bilateral relationships between the two countries. And today we're talking about something quite interesting. We're looking at safe male circumcision. Now, when we look at male circumcision, first of all, it's a practice that has been carried along for years and years, should I say centuries, across various cultures. But today's conversation is quite significant because we're looking at safe male circumcision. And in the studio today, we're talking to three special guests. Let me introduce them first, and I'll also ask them to explain to us what badirang in their respective offices. In studio, we're talking to Miriam Sisinyi, who is a behavioral change and communication specialist. That's BCIC, or the Ministry of Health. Welcome to the show, Masisinyi.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing? Friday, so
yeah, I'm coping.
You're coping. Oh my goodness. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but at least you're surviving. I get it. Welcome to the show. Let me also introduce. We've got Me Ivy Tiamo Kosinto, who's the Voluntary Medical Male Circumcision Nurse Provider, as well as the African Comprehensive HIV/AIDS Partnerships. Hi, Ivy. You and I had a discussion way before the show started.
Yeah, we did.
How are you doing today?
Good. I'm good.
Welcome to the Midday Fix.
Thank you.
And then also we've got Dr. Ronald Wandira, who is the VMMC Activity Manager, CDC Botswana. Good day, Mr. Ronald. Welcome to the show. Look, I'm excited about today's conversation, and I feel like it's a conversation that needs to continuously be carried out. We never assume that people have heard. We never assume that people know, and that's why we continue to have these conversations. So welcome. Let's start with you, Dr. Wandira. For people who don't know, like in the introduction, I did say that, circumcision is something that's been happening in many cultures for many, many, many years. But in this instance, we're talking about safe male circumcision. Please, let's just get into the clarity of that and define that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, safe male circumcision or voluntary medical male circumcision, as globally known, this is a surgical procedure of the removal of the foreskin, the prepuce, or the skin is covering the glands or the head of the penis. And this is done by a competent and trained personnel, professional. That's why we call it medical male circumcision. Because it has to be done by somebody who has been trained.
Yes.
And as a health provider, differentiating it from the traditional male circumcision, which we have just highlighted, which has been with us for a while.
Yeah.
So what we are doing here is that we are packaging it for purposes of medical intervention.
And I think I jumped the gun a little bit, Dr. Wandira. What exactly do you do in your office space? What's your everyday role?
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm the activity manager, as highlighted. I'm the manager at CDC who oversees this program, overseeing the collaboration between the U.S. Embassy and the CDC with the Ministry of Health and the implementing partner, ACHAP, who is being funded by CDC.
So you're the link. You're the link, basically. You're keeping the glue in terms of all these relationships and partnerships in terms of what you guys are doing.
Definitely.
Okay. Now that you've also told us what it is that you do, as well as the definition of a safe male circumcision, and I'm stressing that because you did say that there's actually a difference between the one that we know has been done traditionally. Let's look at who is eligible, who qualifies to be able to have this procedure.
So, safe male circumcision can be accessed from birth, where we talk about what we call the early infant male circumcision. This is the circumcision is provided to an infant immediately after birth, and that usually program provides it up to 60 days from birth for purposes of safety, or you can be able to access it in the adult, what we are talking about today, adolescent and adult circumcision, which we are implementing for purposes of the HIV prevention, but there are other benefits, which my colleague will be talking about. So you can be able to access circumcision from birth to adulthood.
Okay. Let's talk to you, Ivy. Let's bring you into this conversation. When your office, what exactly do you do?
Good morning, listeners. As she has mentioned, my name is Ivy Mokosinta. I am a safe male circumcision nurse, which means I deal with carrying out the procedure itself on daily basis. So that's what I do. I receive clients. Follow them through the procedure and eventually do the procedure, then discharge after looking for any other unpleasant maybe AEs that might have happened. So if there is nothing like that, we discharge. Okay.
Now let's bring you into this conversation, Ivy. Let's talk about the benefits of having safe male circumcision. What are some of the benefits that one can get from this procedure?
Hey, Samantha, there are many, like a lot. First of all, can we just talk about hygiene itself? Hygiene is one of them. Let's talk about a typical guy, maybe who is working in a construction area or something like that. Or sometimes they come home tired, and if you are circumcised, even if you haven't bathed, you're still clean, right? But if you are not, most of the time we find what the because of the activities of the day. If you do hard labor, even if when you don't do hard labor, for the fact that there is that skin, that is sweat inside, you don't remain clean. But if you are circumcised, you remain clean like throughout the day.
Okay. What are some more benefits?
Others, they include the risk of reducing the risk of UTI or what you call urinary tract infections, especially in childhood. When a child, foreskins are not the same. There are those that are like the normal size. I don't know how I'll put that one, but there's the normal size. Isn't that there are those ones that are a bit long? Yes, those ones with a bit long. Those are the ones that actually normally predispose children to urinary tract infections. If not, urinary tract infection. So in kids, you find them most of the time. So inflammation, that's why we call it. So circumcision, if he had that condition, that is actually the cure. Because it recurs. Prevention of skin conditions, like not skin conditions, but the foreskin conditions. Skin conditions foreskin conditions. Phimosis, right? Phimosis ke ha ilong gore that's why ke re phimosis ke mo ga ke go bua ka sekgowa ba mkutlo ko lapeng a kere phimosis ke mo ilong gore o itlhelle gore le yone foreskin ha e khone go boela go morago gore ha o batla go tlhapa o batla go itsokotsa ka hateng letlalo ga le khone go boela go morago kana le batla o le busa ka fosenyana go sekahenyana pressure nyana wa bona so how ba bangwe ba tshaba tota itlhele gore somebody's 25 years, they've never retracted the foreskin back, because sometimes it comes mo gongwe go bidwa go paraphimosis, re mo skin conditioning again, foreskin conditions, mo gongwe go bidwa gore paraphimosis. So circumcision can come in as a preventative measure for paraphimosis, or actually a cure for paraphimosis, because paraphimosis ke ha le ne le boetse go rona le busetsa go moraga ke e be le gana go boa le gona go tlempanyana go skanyana, and it's a very so se botlhoko gore ba be kile bana le one ba itse so bona le balanitis again. Balanitis ke inflammation at the glands, go re ha le gore the glands tlhogo ya borre e gona gore go mo iruruge e ne khibidu do tsa mohuta ono emma. So mo gongwe re ntse ra tswella ke hedise ka tsa and conditions of the foreskin re ntse ra tswella. Some of the benefits di gona go include you reducing sexually transmitted diseases. With sexual transmitted diseases, we are talking about ulcerative conditions. Mo go tlang ka disonyana mo go tang le gore letlalo la bulega tsone tse go na le bo chancroid, bo herpes go tang le go go le lengwe la tsona la dirisa ke go tsa gore la letlalo mo radio.
How's the show, Scalibu? How's the show? If you're not sure, you don't.
Not sure, so I'm not going to say that one. So it helps us to prevent those, because foreskin, like I said, it keeps the inner side moist or dark, warm. So that is an environment for all these things to prosper, to multiply. If we just have one grain of one of these bacteria, that environment is very good for it to multiply. So when there is no foreskin, there is no environment for growth for these bacteria and viruses.
Yes.
So when you remove that, you actually remove the environment for survival for these viruses, and you are 60% safe.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we go to reduction of penile cancers in men and cervical cancer in ladies. Yes, there is a correlation between maybe someone who and with the conditions I've mentioned, or I actually forgot to mention genital warts. So there is a correlation between a guy who is having a genital wart and cervical cancer in ladies.
Women.
In women. Because the but the bacteria that causes genital warts as the same bacteria that actually causes cervical cancer. So if a male partner has genital warts, the female partner is likely to have the cervical cancer because of the correlation of the causative organism that you have in both.
Wow.
That is human papillomavirus. Yeah.
We learn something new every day. Yeah. Did you want to add something, Dr. Wandira?
Yeah, I think she has extensively elaborated the relationship between this environment and it's all associated with the foreskin. As she highlighted or alluded extensively to say, with the foreskin covering the glands or the head of the penis, that environment is a number of times maintained humid, because what happens is that when you pass urine, usually they attract which remains behind. And what will be happening is that after, when you have left the private, wherever you pass the urine, what happens that when that urine trickles out, it usually settles underneath. Yeah. Usually does not pour away. So now that maintains that humid environment, and the viruses by nature, they are always able to thrive in those kind of environment. So whenever that foreskin is removed, it makes the environment so harsh. Yeah. But however, also what I wanted to emphasize here is what she has behind what we call the human papillomavirus. The human papillomavirus, HPV. And that's the reason why you are seeing us onto a very big drive in intervening it in terms of the vaccination program, which we know, I mean, for the school going age group. But purposes, what I want to emphasize here is that the HPV has been strongly associated with these cancers, both in the men and the women. And therefore, that's the reason why when you circumcise somebody male, you make that environment very unconducive for the HPV, and therefore you are able to, when we reduce the infection among the men, that implies that even the women benefit subsequently, and therefore we are really protecting them against the cervical cancer. So that's how the relationship really works in here. But as well, the other factor which she has also highlighted is the HIV prevention, which is the core of our discussion really, because where there is enough evidence that male circumcision reduces the acquisition of HIV among men by up to 60%.
60%?
Yes, which is very significant. Therefore, that's why we have that as one of the intervention. We know that HIV is still with us, and we know how, impactful it has had to the country. And that's why we are really preventing. It's a lifetime infection, which if prevented, the better. Because if somebody becomes infected with HIV, it's a lifetime kind of condition. So I think that's just what I wanted to elaborate over.
No, but la go helletsa me IV.
Ne ke batla go helletsa sengwe ke re, most of the time, maybe apart from urethral discharge, right? Most of the conditions that we see would be on the inner foreskin. Most of the time, chancroid first appears on the foreskin. You would not see it on the cleanse unless the foreskin is fully invested. Herpes lone is similar on the foreskin. And the genital ulcer disease. Listen, genital warts. For you to find it on the foreskin or on the shaft, foreskin. So you can see how foreskin is hidijo.
It's breeding ground.
Yeah, it's the breeding ground. You have put it nicely. It's the breeding ground.
Okay. Look, we'll continue this conversation. If you've just tuned in, we're talking about safe male circumcision, and in studio we're joined by guests. We're talking to Miriam Sesinyi, who is from the Ministry of Health. We're also talking to Mayor Ivy Tiamo Khosinto, and we're also talking to Dr. Ronald Wandira. Do stay tuned. We continue on the other side of these.
Hansi. Power to engage your world is on 90.8 FM.
Music from Tribal Monks. Bounce is the name of that song right here on Gabs FM. Power to engage your world. Welcome back to the Stars and Stripes radio show. If you've just tuned in, we've already started the discussion. Today we're looking at safe male circumcision. Very interesting. In the studio, we are talking to Miriam Sesinyi. We're also talking to Me Ivy Tiamo Khosinto. We're also talking to Dr. Ronald Wandira. Many questions also going on off air, but we promise you we're going to bring them back onto the airwaves so that we are trying to answer as many questions as we would assume that people would have. 12:36 is your time. Now let's bring you in, Masisini. You are from the Ministry of Health. What exactly is your role, Officer Udirang, every single day?
Emma, thank you very much. I'm from the Behavior Change and Communication Office, and like the name implies behavioral change. Yes. Circumcision is an issue and it deals with behavior. So what we normally do in our office, we come up with interventions and projects whereby we encourage men to come for circumcision, and even after circumcision, we continue communicating with them now, trying to help them maintain that behavior that will help them maintain their status, more especially when they are HIV negative. Like circumcision is a program where we are trying to help mo bathong.
So it's like a lifelong partnership and relationship le ba tshwara ka letsogo and you walk alongside them. Before we went to the ad break, your colleagues have been explaining what safe male circumcision is, also as well as some of the benefits and some of the things that are curbed from having safe male circumcision. Now I'd like to bring you in, you know, and I'm sure there's a lot of myths. I'm sure there's a lot of people who've heard stories, who have ideas. And let's just clarify, first of all, what are some of the myths that you yourself have heard or come across in your place of work, and what do you have to say about them?
Emma,
there
are many, but for now, maybe I can just outline two or three of them. There's this issue. After circumcision, where are you taking our foreskin? Are you going to give us our foreskin? Hey, we have heard that you are selling our foreskin.
They want to take them with them.
Some.
Okay.
And where are you taking it? You are selling it, things like that. But what I want Botswana to know, the way we dispose any clinical waste, that's how we are disposing the foreskin.
But tumelo, it's okay.
I cannot tell. I don't. Maybe Ivy knows.
It's okay. Tumelo.
Also, a myth is something that sells like fat cakes. If someone just says it,
one thing,
people believe. It may start as a joke, but then it can be escalated to heights. They don't not why this is okay. Especially moral homosexual, they ask this kind of
okay.
And the other one that maybe I will need doctor to help me is this issue now. What if another disease comes that will require the foreskin? Why are you going to get the foreskin? And then like I came here on earth complete, and then you are taking my foreskin.
You are taking something away.
Now it's like you are taking another part away. So these are the issues. And there are people who feel they are small. So now by taking the foreskin away, it's like it's like so that there are a lot of myths that we are thing, and saying we get maybe the issues some people by feeling after some circumcision you become more promiscuous, or if you are not promiscuous now you start to be promiscuous. So there are a lot of issues that are out there saying but
Hamotat and Amo facing Alona Abuaka their fears in terms of some of the myths. How do you address it? How do you call in a doctor to speak? How do you go about it? Also to make sure that they're comfortable and their worries are addressed. Or
we are doing a lot of things like or officer that's where we communicate. So the issues like how can you communicate with them? So defects or okay fine, as much as you are coming with this story, but these are the facts that they have been scientifically proven.
Okay.
Because like when you talk about the size, we are not IV with high the foreskin. So the size still remains the same. So there's nothing that is changing. Communicate in my office. But we are trying to use various platforms communicate like maybe using some social media, going to the radio, different radio stations. The true story king.
Okay. Did you want to add, Dr. Wande?
What I wanted to add about what Miriam has just shared is that as a program we have evolved as we are implementing and now our messaging we did we did a study in the community just to hear what the perceptions
what people are saying and thinking. Yes.
So over time we have evolved and adopted our messaging in a manner to ensure that we are responding to the concerns, to the needs which the community is in an initiative, what we call the human-centered design approach. So now messaging is focusing on to the client, on to the man. It's shifting from us as the provider to talk about all the benefits as highlighted, but also communicating in a manner that the community perceives about the program.
Yes.
And then the other thing also which I wanted to add on, Miriam, is about, there are those beliefs and the perception to say this is how God made me. So why removing the foreskin? You know, we are human beings. That is the same reason why we cut off the hair when it grows. That's why we cut off the nails when they grow. So basically what I'm trying to bring in here is that as human beings, we are adopting according to the conditions really we are living in, because we are here in a pandemic which we know how devastating it has really done to the country and to us. And we know that yes, as people say, this is how God made me. I mean, by the time you realize while you're with this foreskin, HIV will have taken you. So I think it is the emphasis now. Can we be able to get an intervention for this condition? Can we save lives? Can we improve the quality of lives? Reduce on to the expenditure due to the scarf which we are having ahead of us.
Wow. Thank you for that, Dr. Wandira. I don't know if you want to add. Would you like to add?
Not really. But you don't even wait for them to ask this questions. Or the address as we are doing counseling, we'll get to that portion.
Yes, because these are ongoing concerns. So you've kind of tailor-made an approach of communicating before Babota. Okay.
So during counseling, before the procedure, you do a fact finding client. So when now utuleing, so during that interaction, you can pick the myths. It will be facts mixed with myths. So you pick the myths, you address them.
Yeah. It's Gabs FM Power to Engage World. If you've just tuned in, we're talking about safe male circumcision, and in studio we're talking to Mam Miriam Sisingi, who is the Behavioral Change and Communication Specialist, Ministry of Health, as well as Ivitiamo Kosinta, who is the Voluntary Medical Male Circumcision Nurse Provider, and we're also talking to Dr. Ronald Wandira, who is the VMMC Activity Manager, CDC Botswana. Now let's bring you back in Ivy. A little bit in terms of counseling, etc., etc. What's the process? First of all, what happens? What can they expect as soon as they walk through whichever location they've come to see you at?
Okay. Circumcision ha o batla go idira nako ngwe le ngwe hela ha ile gore o batla go book, you can book, but o khona go goroga hela gone yana o ta o dumedisa hela gore ba gaetswe ke tle go kopa go ira loaro. Gongwe re ntse re bua thata ka circumcision ka stona re bitsa loaro la borre. So hela ha o goroga hela o tla go ikopela go dira loaro, we ra go amogela ga gona tla ka moso tla khantele as long as o tla o ikakantse hela gore no o ipheditse o heditse mogopolo gore o tle go dira on same day. So how goroga re simolla pele ka go sedile maikutlo go ruta go rutle go ira eng se o tleng go sira so tshwantse re se solohele go no hong a ka tla botswa go etla beleng so ra go ruta ha re sonana re go ruta ra go register a kere gore se mamang tla kere tsia mo go sentwana le ha a tle go ira jana a kere go tsang ho we offer HIV testing. It's not compulsory, but we do offer. If you want to do, we continue with test you.
Okay.
So how there is a consent form that needs to be signed. A consent form is just ke tumalano kana tumalano hela gore o re hatetla ya gore re go irelwa ra ha wa patelediwa re go ira. So that applies to each and every operation actually, as per the government orders, whether small, big or small. So you just need to sign that. After that, rira procedure itself.
Procedure is the person fully under like anesthesia. Like what happens? Are the eyes open? Like what happens?
Yes. Kana go ha rirantho. It's safe. So we are going to we have minor theaters.
Yes.
If we go to minor theater, you wear in such a way that you can be protected. How theater. So we provide the theater cap, we provide the gown, we provide the mask, we provide the cover shoes.
Can I operation?
So Lord Nara Parahela, so that our theaters are kept clean. You go there, we clean you, we use an antiseptic solution, we call it a betadine or iodine. From there, we use local anesthesia. Re kenta hela ba ga itso ha re berekelang teng ha re go idibatsa the whole body, so re tla be re tsa re dikgang
le bua ka gore ne go iragala mo TV maabane
re ka ha go le luba ka teng wa go batho seranese re tla be re tsa
gore motho a ska akanya thata ka se se iragalang kana le tshogo
you alleviate your anxiety, we bring you down to this thing. So we provide local anesthesia. It's not painful. Ke mo kentonyana hela, like you know tsunanyana hela wa mutlo ke tsunanyana hela wa mutlo hela, and then we wait for that to work. Go tswa go swa bogatso go swa bogatso ha o sana go swa bogatso ba ge ke gona re ntshang lona le tlhalelone le. Okay, but before we do, we actually test for pain. Do you feel pain? Okay, ha le gore ha gona go pe ha utlwang teng botlo, because we want this to be as comfortable as possible, right? So ra go testa, ra go checka gore a o utlwa botlhoko. Ha o sa utlwe botlhoko, then we proceed, we remove the foreskin. From there re emisa madi ana motšhining eno mongwe o emisa madi hela yana re tla bo ra emisa, and then abo re tswala re roka. From there we put on the bandage.
How long does it take? Sorry, I'm asking. I'm actually, how long does it take? The minor procedure. The
minor procedure, from the cutting point, right? It ranges from 20, 30, maybe 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's not that long.
Okay.
Give the preparation. The preparation and maybe the anesthesia. You know, people differ. Our bodies differ. The way we react to anesthesia also differs.
Yes.
I might take 5 minutes. We may take 10.
Yeah.
So that is what is going to make my time shorter than yours.
Okay. Okay.
So we never go up to an hour, not even 1 hour 30 minutes. So you get in and go out. So how you walk in, you walk out. And
then in terms of aftercare, are you also part and parcel of that journey with whoever's come in for the procedure?
Yes, we are. You have been cancelled. So you're going to be cancelled on the wound care itself. And it's not expensive for circumcision. You just need water, you need salt.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay.
So like so how now bandage. So this bandage, you need to keep it dry, you need to keep it clean, to prevent infections. And then after that you remove it after 2 days. How now we remove it in a health facility. So you come to us or any nearby facility, healthcare facility, bandage, they assess, and then you go back home. How on daily basis? You soak it and then you keep it dry. That's how
with salt water.
Salt water. You just need 1 liter ya metsi kana di kopi tse di nwante di coffee mug tse 4. That makes it a liter. And then you put it in a container go khona go ikhurumela. Our jacks call paying this calf thin paying as long as in a stable. Then you put 2 teaspoons fine salt le bupi, right? You stir, you and then holanyana na mulolonyana just lukewarm. Abo on now tell mukoping, and then you soak for 10 to 15 minutes. You remove, you wipe, and then the other thing, the penis shaft, the penis itself needs to be elevated to avoid swelling, to avoid infection, and to avoid bleeding, and to reduce pain also. So just keep it elevated, and you soak 3 to 4 times in a day, 10 to 15 minutes. So we can that's what we normally encourage, because there is no risk of swelling, there is no risk of bleeding. So so after 7 days you still come back to the healthcare facility. I highly horona le makgwerenyana re attend. I get go ise go nne maswe. Ha go siame, we go back home, wa go tswalla ntse soka go tlhela ditlhele tso tlheditswa, and then there is the last checkup ya 6 weeks or 42 days. And then that will be our last checkup. Then ha go sengwe le sengwe se siame, we discharge you to go back to your normal life. So let me say, within this period, when you are done the operation and the last operation, and the last checkup.
Yes.
Borre, ha go dumediswe bo mme ke tale ka go bua Setswana.
No ra go tlhaloganya.
Ha le dumediswe bo mme bo rra so ha go tlhakane le dikobo. Gore ntho e gone go hola, both inside and outside, because ntho heals in 2 ways. E hola ka hante pele. But when I want to cut the woman to doesn't mean gore hodle ka hate. So 6 weeks gives it a maximum time to heal, both in and outside.
We're fast running out of time. Let me bring you in, Dr. Wanjira, quickly. Where can people contact you? Which centers? Where can people find you if they would like to come in for safe male circumcision?
Thank you so much. I would like to indicate that the service has been scaled across the country.
Yes.
So services are across the country anywhere. What the challenge comes, sometimes you may get to facilities just like we are struggling with other health services. You find that there will be not somebody available at that time, but in one moment or the other, you will be able to get the arrangement. That's why we're talking about the issue of the appointment.
Yes.
But however, we have services across the country. So you can go and find out from any of the facilities. They will be able to let you know if the services are within there or in the proximity to where that facility you will have gone at. You'll be able to access.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in, ladies and gentlemen. We thank you for the work that you're doing for the community, and especially in terms of health in this, what we're talking about. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And on the other side of this, we talked to Mewa Biletao just to talk a little bit about chasing the dream. Let's find out what these guys have for us at the US Embassy in Botswana. You are giving me looks. We'll get into it.
Power to engage your world is on 96.1 FM.
Scabs FM, Power to Engage Your World. Welcome back to the Stars and Stripes radio show. A beautiful collaboration between America and Botswana, talking about bilateral relationships between the two countries. And this next feature, Chasing the Dream, is one of our favorites because we find out the opportunities that are there for Rona le Botswana in terms of what we can find at the US Embassy in Botswana. Hi, Wabile.
Hello,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Ready. eleditse sentle gore
I was there, I was listening.
What do you have for us? We don't have much time, but I mean, where can people find you? Let's just talk about that.
I think I'm going to just talk about what we talked about last week. So we're here again with opportunities in terms of grants, right?
Yes.
So please log on to our Facebook page, our socials, Twitter, but go into the website bw.usembassy.gov under funding, and there you will find an opportunity for the alumni funding. So these are for all our alum who has ever participated in exchange programs. There's about $20,000 for you to actually do youth-focused programs and maybe see how we can amplify male circumcision. That could be an idea for you. So log on and maybe reach out to us again. Our email is pdsgaborone@state.gov or call us at 395-3982. Remember, it is only through you and I that we're able to change our world and our country.
I love it, and I think you put it so beautifully, very simply. That's the email. The www is bw.usembassy.gov. That's where they can find all the programs that are available for funding. Right. Thank you so much, Oabile, and thank you to everybody who's tuned into the Stars and Stripes radio show. Until next week, we'll be back here with something else that's quite interesting and exciting. Otherwise, let's cross over to Diana with the 1 o'clock news. Good afternoon.
The Stars and Stripes show was brought to you by the U.S. Embassy.